Hi guys, today we'll see how to create database, drop database, and because already we have seen the basic stuff of MySQL earlier, so let us have a closer look on the creating database and then dropping and show database. Okay, what are the database you're having on the server? How to create table? How to uh, sort tables? What are the tables we're having in the database, right? So we'll know all this coding, how to create a drop and what are the table engine types, alter table and alter table. Some codes are there, okay? So look at this first now, database stuff. So database creation, first we have to create a database before doing anything, right? Because whatever we are getting, if we are getting table, if we are getting view, triggers, processor, all these are created inside a database. So it's just like a container for all these objects. Okay, so we have to create a database and the syntax is what? Create database, database name. So this is the syntax here. Create a database or a schema, database name, right? So here we are creating database, database name. And here we are saying create database, database name, default character set Latin 1 or default call it Latin 1. So what kind of character set you want to use, whether you want to use ASCII or Latin 1 or some UTF, you can pass it there. Whether your data will be case sensitive or not, so you can pass here, call it Latin 1 underscore binary. So we can specify whether my database will be case sensitive or insensitive. Okay, if database already created, you'll be getting warning that database is already exists, so you cannot create. Next, show databases. If if you're having multiple database on the server and you want to list out, so just write a command show databases. Okay, this is the command show databases or show schema. You can give some expression or some pattern. If you want to drop your database, just say drop database, database name. So whatever the database is containing, this database, whatever the tables are inside that, that will automatically get dropped. Okay, if you would like to use it here, so what we can do now, I can say I just go to here, I just connect to the server. Now this is here, so just log in with server first, consider my password is admin here, enter. So we are getting a MySQL prompt and here I can say create database, say db1, enter. Okay, or and then say use db1 here. So if you are saying use db1, it will be the current database now and you can work in that. If I say here show databases, then it will list out the database which is available to in the server. One is the information schema, it means it is some virtual database which is initially created when we install MySQL in our system. DB1 just now created, IZDB, MySQL, test, all these are existing database now. There is another schema which is inbuilt, that is a performance schema. Here we are having, and so you have seen this show databases how it is working. If you want to say drop database db1, okay, db1, enter. So it has been dropped now, and if you say show database, it won't show here. db1 is not displaying now, right? Okay, come back to here now. So next we have to understand. So I have understood like creating, dropping, and store database, right? Next we have to understand the create table. How to create a table? So we create table in the database using create table statement. So and you have to give a table name and you have to specify all the columns and data types there. Okay. So first we must specify the database we will be working with. The use command selects an active database among several databases. So after creating you have to say use database and then you can go for table creations. Okay. So table provides a structure for storing and securing the data. All data exists within the structure of the tables and tables are grouped inside all the database. So if I create some other object like view, trigger and processor, it is totally based on the table only. So table is the base object for all other object. You must remember this and you have to be very careful when you are creating table and designing the tables and designing the database. So create table statement includes appropriate column definitions and constants to be used for the entity associated with the table. Okay, we'll see the create table structure. If you can see here, first what we are doing, drop table if exists film review. So suppose there is a film review table is created. So just we are dropping here. If it is not there, that's fine. Let us create this table now. So what we are saying, create table name. This is my table name. And then we are saying review ID integer. I can write int also. Film ID is small int, not null, means you have to give a value. It is not null, right? Review text varchar 255, not null again. In last, you should not give a comma here. Here you have to give comma. Here you have to give comma, okay? And then last I written engine equal to INODB. It depends. If you're not writing engine, it will take default engine MySQL, InnoDB. Okay, so that's the default storage, and that depends on the setup of the server. What is the default storage they have set with the servers? Okay, so if you're writing, if you want to change the different storage engine, you can select engine equal to InnoDB, engine equal to memory. If you say engine equal to memory, it will go to the temporary. Okay, after server restart you won't get the table, and if you say engine MySQL, that will not support the transactions and all. That's the difference here. Okay, next, drop table. So to drop or delete a table, use the drop table statement. It's very simple. Drop table name. So if drop table exists, you can write. It is not mandatory. This is optional. Just write drop table name. It will drop the table. The optional temporary keywords prevents the inadvertent loss of permanent table. Okay. So when the if exist clause is used with a non-existing table, a warning is thrown instead of an error. Okay. So warning, do not stop the execution of multi-statement script in its track. So it will keep executing. Now next we can say this one, table engine. There are several table engine we are having. I mean database storage engine. I just explain or I shown to the architecture that there is a MySQL, InnoDB, memory, federated. Okay, but if we talk about MySQL here, what is the MySQL? It's just a default engine type in MySQL. Okay, so MySQL table support extensive indexing and optimize for compression and speed. So it give a good speed when you are using this engine. It is not supporting the foreign key functionality. You can see here it doesn't support the transactions and all, so you cannot say your own commit rollback. But if we talk about the InnoDB, this guy is supporting you all these things like, and it creates a table in a InnoDB table space. It supports the foreign key and transactions and all. So whenever we create in MySQL, it just create three files: my index and my id and that is the data and .frm. So that's the format. So three files is getting created if you are going for this. But in this case, okay, one file will getting created, that is the .frm, which will hold the format, but the data will be in the table space only. Okay, so data stored .myd files in MySQL, but here in InnoDB it doesn't store in myd file. Okay, it is stored in the InnoDB table space. So we understood this engine now. Okay, so you can use engine equal to if you need to create a table with different engine. So engine equal to MySQL, engine equal to InnoDB, memory, merge, all you can use it here. Now if you can see this table, same table has been created here again, but here I have written engine equal to MySQL, right? So if you can see this, engine equal to MySQL, right? If you want to create a table with a different engine, then we can create a table with different engine, but you have to write that engine equal to separate. Okay, like this. Next is the, let us say you have created a table and later you have realized that, oh, I just forget one or two column in that table. What you will do? Will you drop the table? No. You can alter the table and you can keep adding more columns. You can keep dropping the columns from the table. You can keep modifying the data types of the column of the table. That all is possible through the alter command. So altering existing table structure. Using alter table, MySQL allows you to change an existing table in the several ways, such as adding or dropping columns, change existing column definitions, adding primary key and foreign key constant, or remove constant. Each of the alters options relates to a table definition option and is preceded with the action keyword add, alter, or drop. So if you can see here, alter table table name, and then we are doing here, this is syntax actually, alter table table name and then alter options. If you want to say add column, you can say add column, you can say add constant, right? You can say add full text, that's the index, add full text index, add constant, add column, alter column, that all you can do. Add constant foreign key, add constant primary key, if you can see here, right? This is the all I can say, it is a syntax of altering table, right? So if you want to modify the column, that you can say modify column definition, first after this column or that column you can do. So there's a first and after, so it will go to the first position. If you say after another column, okay, it will go after that column. Now change will change the column name and column definitions. Okay, if you want to drop, say drop column, drop primary key, drop foreign key. You want to rename a table, so just say alter table table name, rename to new table name, so it will rename the table name. Okay, now alter table table name, you can say here add column name date time. So one column name has been added, that is the review date in my table. Create table temp column 1 small int. So what we are doing here, suppose there is a one table we are having with column 1. Now we are doing alter table table name, rename table 2. So this table is getting renamed with temp2 underscore table. Drop table, we are dropping, right? So temp table is now is not available because we have renamed it, right? So now the table is what? Temp2 underscore table. So we have to drop this one. Clear? Good. So next we have to understand, look at here now, how we can apply the key and all. So we understood creating database, dropping and altering. Now we understood also like how to create table and alter table and all. And next we will understand what is not null, what is unique, primary key, auto increment, how we can make a auto number generated column, right? So for that sake we are having auto increment here, how to make a primary key, foreign key, unique key and not null. So let us understand this in details here. So not null, defining a column's nullity. For some column it is acceptable to set null or unknown values. A null value is not the same as 0 or blank. Instead, it indicates absence of value, means unknown value. So by default, null is assumed when you are creating table, and if you are not saying anything, so null will be there. And once you say not null, means you have to enter this data in the review date. So once if we create let us a review date time, and we say not null, means you have to enter the review date always when you are inserting the record in that row. Okay, that is what not null concept we are having. Next is the unique key, how we can create a unique constant so that a column will be have a unique value, right? The problem is what, in a table we can make a one primary key. There's one solution that primary key help us to make a unique record value, right? So we can enter a unique value if my column is primary key. But the problem is that I cannot make a more than one primary key in one table. But I want third column, fourth column also should be unique. So that is the one solution we are having. That is a unique constant. So what we can do, we can say constant name unique. What column? What are the column you want? Unique. You can apply that. And when you are creating a table, that time you can write column definition, just say unique. So that column will be unique. There's a number of way to achieve this. So once if you're creating the table, that time you can make the column unique. Or let us say you have just created table and later you have realized that I have to make this column unique. So just you can go for alter table name, and then you can say modify this column with unique, right? Similarly, we are having here a primary key. So primary key constant defining a master key here. So primary key constant is similar to unique constant as well as pk column cannot be null. I mean, if you are having unique key, in unique key you can have a null value. So okay, unique is there, but still we can insert one null value here. But in the primary key, not a single null is accepted, not a single. Okay, so primary key is one or more columns in a table used uniquely identify each row in that table. Okay, if we are creating one primary key on more than one column, then this will become composite key. Okay, so let us say we are making here, if you can see this example, we are saying constant name, a primary key column 1 and column 2. What will happen? So we are creating a one primary key on two column. So we can say this is a composite key. Okay, but still it is a primary key only. But if you are creating a primary key on one column, it's a primary key. Okay, this primary key you can apply during table creation or after table creation through alter command. Next we will understand what is the auto increment. Okay, it's very interesting here because auto increment, let us say I have one serial number column and that I want it should be automatically generated 1 2 3 4 5 like that. If we talk about MS Access, there it is a auto number stuff. If we talk about Oracle, we're having a concept of sequence. If we talk about Microsoft SQL Server, there we are having concept of identity. But in MySQL Server, we are having concept of auto increment.